Generic in Java. So today we are going to discuss what is the generic and what are the different use cases generally where we are using in generics. So we are do with some basics, and there are some basic terminology used in the generics. We also explain it. So first, what the topics we will cover. So first, I am covering about generic, what is the generic, and what are the basic syntax, and in which places generally we can use generic, maybe at the class level, at the interface level, and there are multiple flavor. And we also discuss about some major highly used in the different places in our code, might wildcard, and the wildcard also have a different kind of unbounded wildcard, upper bounded wildcard, and lower bounded wildcards. So let's start whole the today discussion with respect to the only coding. So I am explaining each and everything with respect to the code. There is no anything. This is the only last slide, and let's jump to the our IntelliJ idea, and we'll discuss about the generic. So first, what the problem generic solve? The sometimes generic solve our type casting problem. Let's example. Let us we have a array list. Array list. Let's array list equal to let's a new array list. And in this array list, let us we have a add some element. Let's add maybe one, add two, three, any number you can add. Okay. So let us just want to iterate. So generally, what you can by default, if you notice, if you want to get the element, let's key array list dot get. So you noticing this will returns the object, because by default array list whatever you are storing they are considered as an object, but just I want to sum up the this. So generally you say for let's object obj in the array list, and you say just integer total, and here say total equal to plus equal to here array list dot get, and or you can say just only object, you are only getting object. So you notice here we find that this is the not object is not integer, but we are added integer here. So we have to do here the typecast, like I want to integer, and after that our code will works. So first things whenever we have a list of item, we know we have added integer, still we need to typecast, and after typecast we are getting. So generic help us to, and what happened, let's someone add here like 3.5. At this level there is no problem, array lists are allowed to add any object, but problem whenever you are using it, you are calculating it, at that time you are getting runtime exception. So this is the problem, sometime our application getting exception at a runtime, class cast exception, but this method does not know which different kind of elements you are added here. So how to solve it? Instead of this compiled uh, runtime error, it is possible Why not avoid at the runtime? So here say you can use the generic. You say I want to create the list of integer only. So here say I want to list of integer, and here you can say this way. So whenever you change uh, jet, yes, from this code, from this line to this line, now you say ki our array list would be the list of integer only. Then we are getting at a compile time error. Compiler say required integer, but you are passing a double. So here at the compile time, our code will break. So that would be good. Runtime, we are not getting exception. So generic help us to avoid runtime class cast exception, and that error problem you can handle at a compile times, right? So these are the terminology here is the in Java 1.5 release. Java support generic, and all the collections API are heavily almost more than 90% collection API are written using the generic. So why need a generic? Because here the array list functionality you want to add element. What is array list? Array list offer a facility where you can add any number of element. Whenever you want, you can retrieve. Whenever you want, you can remove. Whenever you want, you can sort. So these are the common functionality this array list implemented. But think, I have an integer. For integer number, I want to all the functionality. Similarly, I have a double number. For double number, I want to store the same kind of algorithms, same kind of functionality. We want different data types. So we are not going to write integer array list, double array list, float array list. When you think our business logic, our functionality is the same, but the only input type, data types can be different. That place generic is the very good candidate, right? So question is that how we can write generic. This is the Java inbuilt library are used. So for our purpose, let's example. We have write one class demo. Let's key class test. And let's this class we have become some generic calculation function. Then let's give we have a one method public just return void and some calculation. Calculation is the one function. Here if I want to let's key integer calculation. Okay, a s out calculation for int int calculation and whatever do you can do. So if now I have a test class method, I have a test class object, and you can create the object of test class, and you can use the calculation function, and here you can pass integer number and it will calculate. But same calculation I want for the double number, same calculation I want for the float number. So generally what we do, generally we overload this method. We can say generally go and overload this method again. I want for double, so you say double. Okay, so here same function can be used for the double as well as. So problem here, our calculation function or method have a same logic, only different data types. So instead of writing these two, method 1, method 2, why not maybe in future need a float or long. Okay, need a float. So you have to again write another method for float. So instead of overloading, but your business logic is the same for all. So generally, we have to, before generic, we have to write a multiple method to support your floating point number. Okay. So here, generic help us. Generic say, if your business logic is the same, only have a different data type. So don't write multiple method. They just don't write. Just write your only one method. Okay. So here you can say our class would be generic type T. And here you can say any kind of T here you can pass. So here say whatever the input types you are passing, I am work for you. The syntax is that angular bracket and write any types. So if you notice, if you write this and just type here instead of int calculation, let's check for type. Just get class and just run it. So you notice that this is the same method, same business logic, but work for the different input. Now the same calculation work for integer, float, double. The generic help us in the place where same business logic, same functionality are implemented for the different input. You can use the here the generic. So and even this generic can be filled. Let's here we have a like instead of T here say T and here just your data, any data field, and here you can just initialize as well as like data equal to A, and you can write get data function, and even you can return the generic. So here let's in the constructor you can write the constructor as well as for the same argument T data, and here say like data equal to D. So here in the constructor whatever the value pass here, let's instead of this, let's now we say our test class I want for integer, and here say our test of object 1 equal to new test. Okay, and here you can also pass some data, and here you can say test1 dot get data. Okay, so that means we are trying to say here this generic you can use in the case of your member variable declaration, in the constructor, in the getter method, even the return types, right? So you can run it, and even you can say yeah, this is a private modifier so that no one can any access. So generic class just help us to write all the business data for not any specific type, for generic type. Any here T can be integer, can be float, can be double, can be anything. So please note that syntax class name just open close and write the T. T is the data types, but what is the data types? Here you cannot say. This T is also known as a type parameter. Means your class is the type parameter. And what is the type? Whenever someone going to use, now at this place we are going to use this test class, and here you can specify the t type is integer. So this is known as a type argument. So any generic class, whenever you are going to use, at that time you can specify the actual data type. This data type known as a type argument. And while the class declaration, you are giving any here symbol like T, generally T for type, E for element, V for value, K for key, anything you can write here. Maybe you can write a name. This is not the general recommendation, capital letter single, but you can even write any name, anything here. And even this class can support the multiple generic. Means here you are specifying two things, one about a key, and here you say let's give on to float. So in this way, this class A, we have a two generic type. Whenever someone going to use this test class, at that time specify what is the first types and what is the second type. So this is the generic declaration and use at a class level. So class level, you can write class and specify here the different types of any types of number of things. Even you can say like anything like value. You can write. Again here pass what is the third. This, let's give on to value like a string. So there is not any specific syntax here. Just open crazy brace, close here, write any number of type parameter. So this is known as your type parameter, and this is known as your type argument. Whenever this test class going to use, at that time you specify the actual types. And this type variable you can use as a data member, you can use as a constructor argument, you can use as any method argument, or even you can use this type argument as a return types. This method can return t types as a runtime whenever test class going to create, at that time decide. So these are the first generic syntax. Means you can write any class that support the generic. In which scenario? Where your business logic, your functionality is the same, but only different data types. Like in the case of array list, functionality is the array list is the same. You can store the array of integer, array of float, array of double, array of string, but all want to add, remove, sort. Similarly here, when you decide you have a business logic, this is business logic, is not any specific bound to specific data types. So why we are writing any specific like integer, float, double? Just like a t runtime, this t is decided what the type. So this is your class level generic declaration. And one thing you notice that here you cannot use static variable as this. So please note that any data type variable, if it's static, you cannot use generic. So this is the violation, this is the multiple regions, but you cannot use. But all the instance variable you can use this type data types. Okay. Sometimes let us I have a class that does not support generic, or you write another method that want different generic. So let's example, in the main method I write one static method. Let's give void like print. Okay, print, and this will print like I want to print any type of data. So here you notice your main class is not a generic, but here you write one method, I want to print any kind of data, integer data, float data. You can here write t, but here compiler say I cannot resolve symbol t. What is the t? You notice here compiler complain I'm not able to resolve, but you notice the same like here. Here I am written the same kind of method, same kind of method, same kind of method, but here compiler not complaining what is the t, because this t compiler figure out the context somewhere this t define or not. If you notice this method is defined inside this class. In this class already you define what is the t. So compiler figuring out the context, and if they found some context then say, oh yes, this t is the different types are I will declare somewhere. So in this scenario sometime you have a class, a math class that not generic, but in this you write some method that support generic. So how will do, where I can define this t. So syntax is that before return types, here you can say okay, this is the t, and now compiler happy, okay, in this method you already defined okay, this is the t, the type parameter, means ki any this the, and here you can use this print method. Here you can pass maybe the integer, or here even you got string, even here you can pass print double, okay, and just write s out p data dot get type, what kind of types value are printing. So in whenever you are want your method should be generic and you are here defining a type, so please ensure that this type you can declare before this. Even you can write the multiple value. Let's here I am r, now e any value, and here you can use this. Let's key on to r, return, and just you want to return this value, okay. So here instead of void you can say I want to return this r value. So here r say this is the types, this is type defined here. Your method is name, what is the return r type. What is the r types? Someone whenever they are going to return, here they are passing the return types. Maybe return type I want to a string, here I want to return type integer, here I want to return type maybe test, anything. So actual what is this r, what this method return depend upon the when someone going to use this print method, at that time they pass actual type and you say it works. So sometime you read the code and the method label generic also supported. In method label you can declare any number of any types of type your parameter, and type parameter were declare before your method return types. Any number of type parameter you can declare here. So this is the second at the method label. Similarly, if you have an interface, you can also use the interface label as well. As if you write any interface, this interface here, and here you can specify the generic. I want only for the t types of element. Okay, so your class can be generic, your interface can be generic. Similarly, your method can be generic. Generic means ki your input is not bound, or logic is not bound to specific types. So that is your generic place where we can use at the method level, at the interface level, at the class level. Sometimes we are working like let's now again that's sometime let's write we have a list of let's key list of number like 1 2 3. Let's we have a list of integer, let's stop like let's double 1.1 comma 2.2 comma 3.3. okay, let's double, let's float, let's Similarly, we have a long 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 list. Might be we have a different types of list. Long value. Okay. Similarly, can be number. Multiple can have a different kind of list. Might be your number. Okay. So sometime let's key I want to just apply some my static void. Let's sort. I want to sort the list. So here I want to sort the list. Question is that I want to sort number list, integer list, double list, long list. So here our sorting algorithm is the same. So what can I write generic here? Here we can write the list, and then what is the here? So list of. So here question, what can I have a list of number, list of integer, list of double, list of long. So what value I can write here? Can I write object? Right? Can I write object? Yes, this is the one way you can write the object. And okay, so let's use. Now let us write. Now I'm going to use the sort function. Sort, and let's here type the number list, integer list. So you notice this. This is the list of object, but still this is not supported the list of integer. So what the value I can write? I want our sorting algorithm is the same, only the different value for integer, for long, for double, for float. So here what we can write here? They are not support, even they are not support the your number list. That's number list. So question here, what can I write? T? Still not. So here in this scenario, the Java have provided one wildcard. You can just place this wildcard. This wildcard say anything you can pass. You can pass anything. You can pass maybe double. Similarly, you can pass long. For all this is supported. So this is the question mark say unbounded wildcard. Here this means there is no unbound, and even you can say simply dot get 0 dot get class. And you notice that this wildcard is do anything which you want, right? Here number, integer, float, double. So the question is that this is the one wildcard, but sometime I want our sorting only for the integer, not for the let's keep other not for the different data types. So what we can do? So here this wildcard have a two option. This wildcard question mark have a two option. One you can say lower bound, one upper bound. So this is the class hierarchy. Okay. So in this case, let us in this example, number is the superclass, and similarly integer, float, double is the subclass, and the super type is the object. The object is the super types, then number subclass, and then integer, float is the subclass. If you Notice this is the integer. Integer is the subclass and superclass is the number. Number is the superclass. Okay. Similarly, all Java classes is subclass of object. So here you can ensure some hierarchy bounding. This is the unbounded. Means ki anything, any class you can pass here in any. So how to ensure some hierarchy? So here we have a two syntax. One is extend. Let's see integer. So in this syntax say this list is only support. You can pass integer class or all are the subclasses. That means ki integer class, this is the integer class and all his subclasses are allowable. So notice that integer class is allowed, but number is a superclass, double is the not hierarchy and long is the not hierarchy. So these are the not allowed. And similarly, you have another option. Let's write sort one method, and here we have an option super. This is known as your lower bound. This is known as upper bound. So let us here again copy paste and write for sort 1. So notice that in this case whenever we say super integer, that means this is the your super, that means this is your integer class. Integer class allow and all are the super classes. So all are the, so this is your lower bound. So this is known as your lower bound. And similarly case of here integer. This is our integer class. They are allowed integer class as well as all the subclasses are allowed. So here these are the not subclasses, though these are the not allowed, only this class is allowed. But in this case, this is the your superclass, this is the integer number is the superclass. So this is known as your wildcard with the lower bound and upper bound. This is your lower bound and this is your upper bound. So sometime I want hierarchy control, which are allowed, which are not allowed. So we use the wildcard. So let us we have some class like here, class A, and let class B extends A. Similarly, let's class C extends B, and one more class D extends C. So here we have a hierarchy. Okay. So hierarchy that this is the A class and subclass is a B, subclass C, subclass D. So if let's write a function like just comment out all. This is the and write one simple method like static void so and here let's list of question mark list. Okay, just so let us here list of A, list of, let's give we have A, okay, A list equal to new array list. Okay, let's we have a B list, next we have a C list, let's we have a D list. So here we say how just t. So now I have a list of object. So let's I invoke the show function. So if you call show function for a list, it's work because this is a wildcard. There is no bounding here, unbounded. So they can support B, C, D. Okay, but this is the but I want this method is only let's say extend C, extend C class. So this is only allow C class and his subclass T. But you say no, I want this is our boundary. C class are all his subclasses allowed. But you say super, that means ki what is the super class of C? Super C means here say here A, B, C, D. So here say C, super C means ki C class allow and all are the super classes. So this is your lower bound. So you have to specify your lower boundary here. So please ensure that sometime we write question mark your super, some kind question mark your extend. So please note that here extend means not the inheritance. Here extend just added functionality, right? Example. So this is clear. Super is the just checking a boundary. This is the my super class allow this class and all his super classes are allowed to pass. Extend means this is the your C class and this allow and all is the subclasses are allowed. So this is the meaning of super on extend. Wildcard, unbounded, lower bounded and upper bounded. So and then extend. So you can apply super or extend. But here I am talking about the extend. Extend means not here inheritance. Extend means here just supporting which class support and what is the hierarchy. But here you can also write here. Let's here you have right type y. Y extends maybe any class name A. So you are supporting A. Or you can also end any interface, my interface, test interface. So here the extend keyword is used for your class, even that means ki one class, a class, y means ki whatever the here you are buying data types, that class can be extended. A class means ki inheritance of a class and also implemented this interface. And means implemented this interface. This is known as intersection type. So this extend keyword not like a in the interface for implementation interface and a class for extend. No, here the interface, but still we are using extend keyword. Here extend keyword say intersection between you can pass any number of object who are is the subclass of a and also and implemented interface and comma multiple interface you can pass here. So extend keyword is here not the meaning of inheritance. Here what level of things support here. Here you can even pass interface. Don't pass. Let's I have an interface too. So I say only interface. Let's key my interface, and that is a not generic face. And here you can say that's a new type Z or extends your my interface. So here trying to say in test class, whatever the jet parameter is the my interface class implementation. This extend is the not meaning of your implement here or at. No, this is the just syntax for whenever you define any type parameter. If you're not specifying anything like a T, means that can be anything, any hierarchy. There is no any hierarchy. But sometime I want to restrict कि only this my classes are allowable to pass here. Or if the multi-level of inheritance available, then you are controlling, no, only this level are allowed, yeah, this level are allowed. Upper boundary or lower boundary. So please ensure that this extent is just indication that what kind of type parameter we are supporting. So hope now it's clear what is the meaning of extend and what is the meaning of super. Super and extend just the boundary which you are supporting, which you are not supporting. So these are the very handy uh, way you can write your class in a generic. So as we discuss, we are already discussed like key we can write this generic class at a class level or interface level or method level. This T class means you can pass at the whenever you are using going to this class at the that time you can pass any type argument, maybe string, integer, double, float. But sometime you want to place a restriction, then this class can use the keyword extend or a super. Extend keyword say कि I am supporting this class and all is the subclasses you can pass. Super say कि I am supporting this class which is mentioned here and all is the super classes. And sometime this is the unbounded wildcard, means कि you can pass any control. So this is generally used while your type argument, this T used as a type. So here say type parameter, whenever you declare class foo and whatever the here is specifying T, this is the type parameter. These are used as while the class declaration, while you are writing a class. But type argument as discussed, this is the like actual data type like string, int, float. Like in the case of foo class, you can pass the foo of integer, yeah, foo of float. So this string is the type argument. So these are the very easiest way. Just you can while writing the code, if you look this code, please try to understand what is the meaning and how many number of you are going to use, that make help us to familiarity. And nowadays these generics are highly used in all the collections API, and many times we find this code. So if we you conceptually understand what the meaning of question mark extend, question mark sub, super, question mark or T extend, that makes sense to easily understand any complex code. Okay, and even extend can extend any class or any interface. So their extend is not just like inheritance, but the indication your type parameter can be extend A and implement B class and implement C class. Any number of interface you can pass. So hope this information will helpful for you. And from this note, I would like to say thank you.